We have to find our ability to connect. And you know what? It is in our biology as well, because we see it. We see it in the headlines as soon as there's a big crisis. As soon as there's a natural catastrophe. And we have so many occasions, sadly, to bear witness to this right now. Whether it's Ebola or Katrina or Haiti or tsunamis or earthquakes and tornadoes ripping through communities, people show up. Who do I need to be? Why do we wait for a catastrophe? We don't have to wait for a catastrophe. Because as a matter of fact, we live amongst the walking wounded. Here in this room, stories of cancer, stories of recent loss, struggles financially, aging parents who won't move out of their home, aging parents, where will we put them? How will we afford it? Kids who can't stay in school, puppies that won't potty train, and babies that won't sleep. It all walks in the door with us. And all we need to be reminded of is that we don't have to have a headline to reach out and connect. A dear friend of mine, who's a professional photographer, had one of those headlines. This is one of his images. In the backyard of our beautiful state, Chad Harder took this photo. His life partner and climbing partner, Kara, is pictured here, as well as here. Do you ever see these photos and just think, who took that shot and how the hell did they get there? And why would they go? So they're on this big climb, and in the midst of the climb, there's a tragic accident. And at the end of the accident, what transpired is that a very large boulder and Chad went tumbling down a scree field, and the boulder landed and crushed his right forearm and hand. A tourniquet was placed because they were pretty sure that hand was going to be amputated. I'm going to leap to the end of the story. They've since moved to Alaska. I recently saw them at a wedding, and I asked Chad, how you doing? How's life on the other side? He's like, well, I can take a picture and hold a beer. I'm good. He told me about the moment they got home, weeks later after the accident. And he says, when we got home and opened our fridge, it was packed with food. And every 3 days, someone shows up with a casserole. And they had been in some construction at their house, some remodeling. He said, last weekend, there were people with tool belts and equipment that came to kind of get us over the hump so we weren't living in this half-built, reshuffled house. I was like, I don't even know some of the people. He's kind of this big mountainy guy, and I can tell he's got a lump in his throat. He says, did you know, Karen, there's fundraising events happening for us? We didn't ask for that. Like, there is so much kindness just being flooded our way. And I knew I was a good guy and we had these friends, but I'm so overwhelmed. And I looked him in the eye and I said, oh, Chad, all that kindness and goodness and generosity has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with us. We are starving to bake and take. We are so hungry to reach out. We love a fundraiser. We kind of love a crisis. We love to show up and be the hero. We love to volunteer our time and feel good about ourselves. Don't wait for the crisis. It is in our biology. It is who we are to know that we are at our best when we are connected. In fact, I'm going to go so far as to say it's in our belly buttons. Nobody ever talks about the belly button. The poor, forgotten belly button. But the funny thing is, okay, they're funny. That's one of the funny things. We all have one. We all have this scar. And that scar came about because of connection. The very first connection. It's actually known as your umbilicus because of the umbilical cord. And it is through that biological connection with another human being that we thrive and grow and are able to enter into this world. And what's the first thing that happens upon arrival? We're disconnected. And so it is my belief that in the core of who we are, in our human biology, we are so hungry to be in connection and to find each other in meaningful ways.